So if you ask me, well, tell me in 2 minutes what's distinct about this class. Well, we're trying to understand a book, an ancient book, the Old Testament, written, if you take it on face value, the first part of it was written 3,500 years ago. It was written in an ancient language, Hebrew. It's you read it from right to left, no vowels in the original writing, a very, very old text. And it's a big text. I mean, you can see how big this book is. But at the end of the day, I think that once you understand one idea, that it becomes very easy to put many of the pieces together. And the idea actually comes from Jesus. Jesus, when he was walking with the disciples on the Emmaus Road, interpreted, and that walk was about 7 miles, so over a period of a couple of hours, Jesus explained all the things in the Old Testament related to himself. In other words, there's a connection between the Old Testament and Jesus. When you look at the New Testament writers, that's exactly the approach they took, and it's the approach that we'll take in this class. Jesus is the best interpreter of the Bible because as God and as man, as the God-man, God incarnate, he understands perfectly the thoughts of God, and he understands perfectly the thoughts of human beings. He's the perfect interpreter of his word. And so once you understand that the Bible is connected to Jesus, it becomes much easier to put the pieces of this story together. And if we just start looking at the beginning and end of the Bible, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but the Bible starts with a cosmic wedding, Adam and Eve, a man made from dirt, and then a woman fashioned out of the essence of that man. God brings them together in a marriage, and that's how the book starts, in the Garden of Pleasure. I don't know if you realize this, but that's exactly how the book ends as well. When we look at the New Testament text, we have a new Adam. Only it's not the man from dirt, it's the God-man, the man from heaven. And just as the dirt man was wounded in his side, and out of that wound this bride for him was created, so too the God-man was wounded in his side. And it happened at a tree, and as Adam was naked, so the God-man was stripped naked. Adam comes to a tree in Eden, and Christ comes to a tree in suffering. But out of that, when we look at the end of the Bible, what we have is another cosmic wedding, just as God had brought the first couple together. And the result was this wedding, two people being brought together by God. So too the Bible ends with a cosmic wedding, only now it's the God-man and his new Eve, the church. And they're being brought back to heavenly Eden with the tree of life and the river of life. Only the garden now has become the city of God. And so once you realize that everything in this story is connected around what Jesus accomplished, then it becomes much easier to understand how the parts fit together. And so that's what we'll be doing in this very first week of homework. We're looking at the beginning and end of the Bible. There's a connection. We're going to see that that connection is massive. It isn't one detail or two details, but massive details connecting this story together. And once you begin reading in this Christocentric way, it's an approach to the Bible that goes all the way back to Justin Martyr, at least outside the apostolic age. Justin Martyr, in his dialogue with Trypho, takes exactly this approach to the Bible. And what we're going to see, it's exactly the approach that the New Testament writers take as well. Once you start looking that way at the Old Testament, then many of the difficult passages become very clear, and you begin to realize that this neglected part of the Bible in so much of evangelical Christianity, that this neglected part of the Bible is actually something incredibly beautiful when you understand that it's pointing to Christ. So look forward to our time together and hope you have a good rest of the day.